looks like CDPR might finally be teasing something. At least, that is what many fans are thinking right now. And if nothing else, Cyberpunk 2077's 5-year anniversary is just a bit over 1 week away. It feels like we are ripe for another one of those surprise updates, but also maybe more. During last week's earnings call, CDPR said something incredibly interesting that I just think gaming in general is kind of missing right now. Because if this is true, if my interpretation is correct, this genuinely could end up being one of the most hyped projects in gaming. And I mean, just in general, you've probably noticed, Cyberpunk 2077 has remained surprisingly active over the past year. And this is really due to CDPR's new CEOs. These two stepped up in 2024 and simply saw more potential in this game. We even heard how earlier in 2025, CDPR had to adjust some of their financial calculations around Cyberpunk 2077 because the game was selling even better than expected. And as just a simple proof of that, it just crossed 35 million copies sold, which did give us this very interesting quote from the company. This is not only a remarkable achievement for us, but also a powerful testament to the strength of the franchise and the effectiveness of our business strategy. We deliver high-quality, story-driven games that keep selling, supported by content updates that ensure our games continue to evolve and engage players for years. That last part is definitely new. Cyberpunk 2077 had a confirmed final update just 2 years ago now. CDPR are now supporting their games for years after the fact, and evolving their game's content is a more recent strategy shift, and this public declaration during an earnings call certainly makes me think that Cyberpunk 2077 updates aren't stopping anytime soon. But could we also be getting more DLC? Is that what's actually getting teased here? Well, during this earnings call, they confirmed something pretty massive. Do you remember this profit incentive sheet? I covered it earlier this year, and it's really what kicked off a lot of the current speculation that something else is coming from CDPR. It basically shows how much more profit the CDPR execs have to generate in order to hit their own incentive target. So if the executives make this much profit, they're going to get some kind of bonus. But things weren't going super well. They earned less than half of what they needed, despite more than half of the time frame having gone past. They were behind schedule. And in that time frame was the release of Phantom Liberty. So doing better on the back half seemed really implausible. They would have to do better than they did the year of Phantom Liberty. But CDPR is saying this is possible, and they just gave us an update on it. Between now and the end of December 2026, they have 35% left to make, and they think they'll do it. Although it is a very ambitious goal, we believe that if things go according to our plan, we have a fair chance of reaching it. There is a chance that new content hinted upon in recent calls and reports may see release in the coming year, having an impact on our results and increasing the likelihood of achieving the earnings conditions in the first stage of the incentive program. And frankly, I don't see how that quote isn't getting more coverage because, yeah, that's huge. CDPR is basically saying that something unannounced is likely dropping in the next year, and this will have a profit impact that seems to be at a similar level to a full-on expansion to Phantom Liberty. That is the only way this still could possibly make all of the money it needs to at this point. Remember, they're behind. It's not like they have to do just as well as this past year, they have to do just as well and then some. As far as what this project could be, earlier this year, CDPR did announce a bunch of things out of nowhere. During one of these, they announced that Fool's Theory, a studio made up of former Witcher devs, was now working on a Witcher 1 remake, but also a totally unannounced separate project. They were doing something else in addition to the Witcher 1 remake for CDPR. And during this earnings call, we get some updates on that mystery project. The secret other project has even more developers working on it compared to the Witcher 1 remake, and in fact, the secret project has over 100 developers on it right now. Earlier this year, Rock and Boris said on their podcast that the secret new Fool's Theory project was a new Witcher 3 DLC. They weren't sure at the time if this was going to be a free DLC or new paid expansion, but I think one of these fits pretty clearly right here, because I think CDPR secretly has 100 former Witcher devs making a new expansion for The Witcher 3. This very likely to be sold in 2026 as an epilogue that connects the events of The Witcher 3 to series' new story in The Witcher 4, and it really being one of the few things that would help them hit this profit incentive, because assuming this is actually the project in question here, it also means it's coming out in the next 12 months or so. And okay, all of that is freaking awesome, it sounds incredibly exciting. What does it have to do with Cyberpunk 2077 or even this new teaser? Well, CDPR wasn't just working on one secret project. In reality, they have 3 of them. They described how 2 of these were gaming and 1 was non-gaming. Many now assume the non-gaming project was Edge Runners 2. One of those secret projects very likely is a Witcher 3 expansion, so then why wouldn't you also bring an expansion to the newer, more popular, and the game that's still getting somewhat regular updates, aka Cyberpunk 2077 also getting a new expansion? And even during the earnings call, we got further clarification around these, CDPR describing how these new secret projects aren't any of the recently announced Cyberpunk board games, or the new card game, and how the Scopely project, likely to be some kind of Cyberpunk mobile game, is still in its very early stages. These secret projects in question are being capitalized, aka CDPR is actively spending money on them. I don't really think it's that big of a stretch to guess that they hired Virtuous all the way back in 2024 really to make a Cyberpunk 2077 expansion. This was likely right around that same time they were hiring Fool's Theory to work on a Witcher 3 expansion. But then, obviously, it makes sense for Virtuous to get some experience first, and in turn we got patch 2.2, 2.3, and potentially even 2.4 down the road. But I mean, hey, even just earlier this year, there was a LinkedIn entry describing somebody at Virtuous is working on a new Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. And the funny part is, I was working on all of that, the entirety of that video, and then CDPR tweeted this. This feels like incredibly convenient timing when putting it together with the rest of this information. There's gonna be another one of those birthday tweets, but clearly this one has some more cryptic wording with it. They tweeted this birthday calendar back in March. It has a bunch of encrypted slots, which CDPR even calls attention to. And of course, this has fueled tons of speculation over the course of 2025. We've gotten monthly calendars with birthdays on them since then, including one for Takamura. Takamura isn't on this calendar, but did get a birthday tweet suggesting he was one of the encrypted slots. As far as what that means, why he was encrypted, or who the rest of the encrypted people are, we don't really know right now. We've never really gotten an explanation on any of these, and now a final calendar was revealed, with it being a bit different, citing a priority transmission from the secure channel. The calendar itself showing the two former FIA agents. And the transmission wording definitely makes me wonder if this will connect to the ongoing NUSA ARG. This kicked off with this recruitment post, you probably saw it, it ended up going a bit viral. And eventually, after many puzzles, ARG players hacked into Kurt Hansen's servers. But since hitting this final, or seemingly final step, things have just remained dormant for months now. There hasn't been a resolution to this ARG. In the past, CDPR has confirmed that this wasn't teasing a new game announcement or new game content. So perhaps this is all unrelated, but either way, it definitely feels like something could be happening on December 10th. It's the 5-year anniversary for Cyberpunk 2077, and even in the past, CDPR has suggested that something could be happening on this day.
It's always amazing, and it's really difficult to imagine that it's almost been 5 years that we've been doing it. Like, I mean, we've been doing it even longer, but with you playing.
We'll get to the 5th anniversary.
Yeah, I know.
When the time is right.
I'm not saying a new Cyberpunk expansion is shadow dropping. I mean, hey, we don't even know if there's an update coming, but I would say it's pretty likely we get something. Mod tools are one of the other big ones many fans are hoping for.